Hey everybody, Tony from musiclegacyinternational.com. Today's guest is radio DJ Bob Buchmann. He's known from coast to coast. He's done so much for the rock music industry, and we're very lucky to have him with us today.
Hey guys.
There he is. Hey, what's up, Bob? How you doing?
Patience.
That's
really
okay.
Good, Tony.
No problem, no problem. So it's great to have you with us.
It's good. It's nice to be invited.
And I really appreciate you calling in during the Zebra interview. That was just a nice touch. They were all thrilled to death with that.
So, was that a surprise to them, or did you?
It was a surprise. Yeah, I surprised them with it. Yep.
That's great. That's really nice.
So
really
while we were doing our interview, the phone rang, and I said, "Oh, I have a little surprise for you," and then you popped in. So it worked out perfect. I go way back from when you started in 1979 on WBAB. Well, that might not be way back for you, but I left Long Island and I was away until like 1984. And when I came back, you have come a long way with WBAB, and I've been at clubs with you and stuff like that. I don't expect that you would remember me, but the Salty Dog in Huntington, all of those great places that we had back then, that was quite a music scene.
It really was.
Yeah. So in Music Legacy, we have artists from beginner to pro. So almost everybody I interview, I ask to go way back to find out where their interest in music came from. And I heard a story about you in your parents' basement where you set up your own radio station. Could you tell us a little about that?
Absolutely. So that was fun. I was, 16, maybe, I guess. The year was 1974. And, we had a community radio station that we were trying to literally build with our hands. At the Half Hollow Hills Community Library on Vanderbilt Parkway on Long Island in Dix Hills. And it fell apart through all kinds of community bureaucracy. And so, we, my friends and I, were still hell-bent on being on the radio. And there was no longer a radio station to be on. We certainly, couldn't get paid for it. We had no experience. So we had to build one, and we did that in my parents' basement because we were all, at the time, we were more technicians than we were air talent. So, we were the ones soldering transistors and stuff. So, we took a marine transmitter. And back in the day, little boat transmitters are little tiny things these days with all the solid state circuitry. But back in those days, they were all big tube things that would sit inside the captain's quarters of a boat. We took one of those transmitters, and a friend of mine was at SUNY Farmingdale, where they had a local on-campus only carrier current radio station. And they were on 640 AM, and we thought, oh my God, 640 is right next to 660, and that's what everybody listens to, WNBC. So we'll be 640 just to the left. We used their crystal, and we popped on the air at 100 watts, and everything was great for 3 months until the FCC knocked on the door and said to my mother, hey, do you realize that he's got this big VU meter, in front of him that's cleaning? And he says, you see this? He says, we have reason to believe there's an AM radio station coming from your basement that is broadcasting at 10,000 times the legal limit for an unlicensed station. And my mother's response was, oh, he told me it was legal. That's how it started.
I just love those stories. And so then how did that evolve into you getting on an actual radio station and getting to WBAB and the other stations that you've worked with?
Well,
tell us about the journey.
Thank you, Tony, for the question. Yeah, so that was just before college, and So college, we had a radio station. We had a licensed station upstate in Ithaca, New York, and so we all got on that radio station, and we no longer needed to be pirates. We got a lot of experience over the 4 years that we were in Ithaca. And so during summer vacations, I finally had enough experience to get jobs that paid minimum wage to be on, an adult contemporary station in Huntington, Long Island, and at a rock station in Riverhead, Long Island, and another what was a country? No, it was at the time it changed from country to something else, soft rock, I think, in Patchogue, Long Island. So yeah, that was the start. And then you know how life goes. You can have all the skill and talent in the world, but if you don't also have luck and timing, you get nowhere. So it's all four things. And I had luck and timing because just as I got my diploma in May of 1979, my friend in college told me that my local Babylon radio station was just traded hands. It just was sold by the mom and pop who owned it to another mom and pop that just, that lived in New York City. And, common sense, we're like, well, the ratings of that radio station are terrible. So I contacted this brand new owner who wouldn't take any offense because he just bought it. It's not his fault. I said, you bought a great rock property, but it has no ratings. Why don't you let me give you ratings? And he said, but you're in college. You've never worked professionally. He met me at a Chinese restaurant a couple of times in Babylon. And after 2 or 3 meetings, he felt confident for a very small sum of money to hire me. And he had already selected a program director for the station before he met me. So he brought me on as a programming consultant. And 6 months later, I became the program director. And several years after that, I became the vice president of programming because the ratings had just really gone up, up, up.
That's for sure. Yeah. That was always the radio station that I listened to religiously.
Yeah, well, that's great. And, that's we had the attitude as kids that we just wanted to surround everybody so that, it didn't matter if we were good or bad. We just wanted to be so in everybody's face that they couldn't ignore us. So, we tried to put a great rock product on the air with great DJs that we brought to Long Island and some who already came from Long Island. And then we went to all the nightclubs and all the concert venues. And people couldn't ignore us because we were everywhere. And of course, because we're kids, we had all this free time. So that's what we did. We went to clubs, we met people, and of course that helped us because we learned what people wanted firsthand. They would say, you're playing too much of this, or you're not playing enough of that. And so that's how we did it at age 22.
Wow, that's wonderful. It's so great to hear stories like that. People don't realize it. Like you said, you just have to be in the right place at the right time, but have the right attitude and a vision. And that's what you brought to the table, was that vision. And you made it a reality.
Well, thank you, Tony. That's true. But yeah, to that point, if that guy had not purchased that radio station, just as I got my diploma out the door in May of 79, it might have been a completely different life for me and for Long Island, because BAB may have never happened.
And if he didn't give you a shot, being fresh out of college, these days, I know this one girl told me she put out over 300 resumes, not one reply. Or the replies that she got, they said, well, do you have any experience? She's like, no, I don't have it. Well, call us back when you have experience. How can you get experience to get a job. You have to get that
it's true.
experience. Well, that same
Yeah,
girl.
it is a vicious circle. Yeah, please.
That same girl, I got to interview Junior Marvin, Bob Marley's guitarist, and she got that opportunity to say, hey, look, I've got the experience, I've done this for Music Legacy. And that's what we're trying to do for the members, is we're trying to give them that opportunity or open doors for them. I just had Sweet Susie in here. Do you remember her from Long Island?
I'm trying to remember. I think I do know.
She has a really powerful voice, and that interview will be coming out probably around the same time as this one. Maybe you'll recognize her. But she did say to say hi to you. And what we're trying to do is, from beginner to pro, there's so many things that are valuable that people, either just from experience, what they've learned on the road, even just fun stories of things that happened. These are all like little building blocks that a new artist can use to take on, to be part of themselves, their career. And I was just hoping that maybe you had some stories that you could share with us, maybe that come to mind.
Some stories.
How it happened for you, little things that happened that changed, like what you just told us that with BAB. That was a great thing. Are there any other ideas?
And I'll tell you, I know what you mean now. So the reason I got that, I wasn't one of the, just to back up, the reason I got that job is because I was relentless with this new owner. And I presented him hard beliefs as a 22-year-old on how I could help him. And you know what? I said, I don't care what you pay me. We'll catch up with that 6 months after I start. Just let me show you what we can do. So I was pretty relentless. Now there's a follow-up story to that with a completely different subject, and that is the subject Billy Joel, and that was a year later, a year after getting hired. So I was 23, and there was a radio station on Long Island that kind of owned Billy Joel, and he was somewhat unknown at the time. He hadn't had his big hit yet. I guess he did. I guess he just had his big hit, and he was part of their softball team. And I'm like, gosh, how do I get Billy Joel to align himself with our radio station? And again, luck and timing, he just started a charity. And so I thought that was a great way to start a relationship. I would offer to fundraise for his charity.
Was that Charity Begins at Home?
It was. It was. So I met with the executive director, Louise, God rest her soul, and she worked for no money, but she also worked for a nonprofit, and her nonprofit was one of the receiving nonprofits. So in a sense, even though she wasn't paid a salary, she did get donations to her other nonprofit. So I met with Louise, and then with Billy and his wife at the time, Elizabeth Weber. And that started a 29-year relationship between me and him, 20 years at WBAB. And then when I changed to Q104 in New York City, Billy followed me there. So that's a way not only to have a personal friendship, but also a professional one where, my radio station is allied with one of the biggest musical personalities in the world who happens to be a local guy. And again, the reason I bring it up is, that's how you have to go and get it. You have to find an angle. So your viewers, your listeners, Tony, can use that hustle attitude to go and get the job they want. Now, listen, it's not as easy as it used to be. Times are more complicated. This was when it was easy. There were very few methods of communication. You had to pick up the phone, or you had to meet someone in person, or you could write them a letter. Three ways to get a hold of somebody. Today, there are a million ways to get a hold of people.
Yeah.
So it's more complicated. It's a more difficult environment, but it's still not impossible for your viewers to put whatever hustle is needed into getting what they really dream of.
They got to put their heart into it, right?
They do, and their time. And they got to think, like, how do I get to this person?
Yeah.
When I lost my job, I worked for iHeart at Q104, and then I left for a station in Los Angeles. I left for KLOS in Los Angeles, and then iHeart wanted me back, so I ran San Diego for them. And then when their money ran out, I was unemployed, and this is about 7 years ago. And so at the time, there was this is the same story as BAB. There was a brand new owner at KLOS. What did I do? I found out he was looking for a program director. I buddied up with his executive secretary and, really, told her, hey, this, I've got a proposal for you. I'm Federal Expressing it to you. You'll have it in the morning. And would you mind putting it on the top of the pile, right on the blotter of his desk when he arrives tomorrow morning? Can it be the first thing he sees? And she said, yes. I got a call back from the guy 12 hours later. Wow. Again, there's always a way to do it. You just have to think about it. And you have to give it, as you had said, you have to really give it the time and devotion and thought it deserves. If that's the way you get your dream done.
Yeah, the focus. You have to have that focus. So now how are you doing for time?
I'm a little tight on time. I've got fires to put out all over the place. That now, and just for your viewers, I want to let everyone know I'm now at Sirius XM, have been for the last 7 years. And it's a crazy good job. Again, luck and timing. That KLOS job I just was referring to that I got on the guy's radar, through his executive secretary. I did not get that job, by the way. But lucky me, another thing, luck and timing was happening just at that moment. And it was that Sirius XM, which had 2 East Coast headquarters in Washington, D.C. and in New York, just built an 8-story skyscraper in Los Angeles. Wow. And they needed somebody to do their rock programming.
Oh, excellent.
And this is just as I was looking for work 7 years ago. And so, I got that job. And again, you just have to look and think about how you can make timing work for you. Search out opportunities, because these are puzzles is what they are. Trying to get work, trying to advance your own career, whether it's in music, for your musician listeners, in today's world, how many uploads are there a day? I have no idea, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to guess that there are at least 1 million song uploads a day from artists nobody's ever heard of. At least 1 million in the world, probably more. Well, that didn't used to be that way back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So it's tougher for a musician today. So, by using every technique at your disposal today, you can break through the pack because the pack is more massive than it's ever been. And you can get noticed by a music director. You can get noticed by an A&R guy being a unisex term, and that's the way you do it. You just got to be relentless. You got to do showcases, and make sure record company people go to them. Obviously you have to develop a local following because nobody wants to see a band in an empty club. So, it's a process, but it's one that absolutely can be done.
Did you ever see what Frank Zappa did on the Steve Allen show?
I did not.
Oh, you got to look on YouTube for that one.
Okay, I will.
He said, we have somebody who's going to play the bicycle. And he had the wheel of a bicycle. He was spinning the wheel of a bicycle, I think, and playing it with a drumstick or something.
It sounds like Frank.
Yeah, he got the attention. But that's kind of what you're talking about, right?
You just have to stand out.
Get creative.
And stand out with your creativity, but also be aggressive, politely aggressive. Don't be a pain in the ass, but be politely aggressive. Because you're doing it for yourself. So give it all you got if you believe in it.
Yeah. Kind of like I did to get you on the interview here.
Well, I think you're very generous, Tony, and I really appreciate the time. I
thanks
really
for
do.
being
Thank
here.
you.
Just so that you know, we're doing these interviews for anyone who signs in free to Music Legacy, our community platform on musiclegacyinternational.com. And I was interviewed last year on the Donna Drake show on CBS, and got such a good response that they asked us to do a collaboration with them. So right now I'm interviewing you out of the CBS studio here on Long Island.
How great is that? That's fantastic.
We're interviewing great artists and beginner artists, anybody in the music and arts or entertainment field that thinks that it could help advance their careers. We're here to help them. And we're just trying to find those creative ways, like you said, to help advance those careers and people in the business. So anybody that you know that you could send our way will be greatly appreciated.
I'll keep that in mind, Tony. That's
all
really
right.
great.
Thank
you.
you. So what I'm going to do with this is once they send me the raw footage, I'll send it to you. And if there's anything that you want me to edit out of it, we'll edit it out. And my assistant usually makes a nice 1.5 minute teaser reel that we'll put up on social media. And
that's great.
What I do with the video, the full interview, is we like to post it for the first week or two in Music Legacy, and then use the teaser to get people to come see it on Music Legacy to get us some traction. And then you could use the video if you'd like to use it for self-promotion or in your social media for yourself any way that you like. So,
thank you.
And
that's
this
great.
is all at no cost to you. So.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you. And so, you don't need to run it by me. Just have her edit it. Have it edited when it comes back, and then just the only thing I'd like to see is the teaser.
Okay.
I don't need to see the show. I just need to see the teaser. And other than that, I'll trust her ability to edit this, or I'm sorry, his or her ability to edit this to their liking. But I just want to see the teaser.
Thanks so much. You're always generous, so generous with everybody in the industry, and we appreciate you taking the time.
It's nice that you took the time to learn about me and to actually, live through the WBAB years. So thank you very much.
That was a great thing. Well, thanks so much, and I hope to be talking to you again in the future.